Okay, guys, we will get started here in about 3 minutes. My name is Tammy Neal, and this is using Google Forms. So we'll get started in about 3 minutes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tammy Neal. I am a Google certified trainer from North Florida. The old joke is I'm from the part of Florida that doesn't have palm trees. So glad you are here tonight. We are going to be walking through, I consider this a more advanced session about Google Forms. If you don't know if you've never created a Google form, you've never created a quiz, I encourage you to also check out my Getting Started with Google Forms that we did earlier today. You should be able to find that on YouTube. So we're going to get started with, I'm going to do this through a lot of screen sharing. So you won't actually see me, you'll hear me. But I have some forms from earlier today that were used, and we will get started. So the first thing I've got to do is open up a new window here, because in my eagerness to get everything started, I accidentally closed down the files that I wanted. So if you are here, I do have the chat window up. So if you'd like to say something and share, please by all means do so. Okay, and here we go with our screen share. So this is the file that we used earlier today. I added some more responses to it so that we can see what we're going to be dealing with. So earlier today, we made a 30-point quiz, and we're going to look at some things here. We can limit our responses, reminding you just a little bit, we can limit our responses to one per email address if we want to do that. We can set question values at the individual question. So I can come in here and go to the answer key and change the question value at any point in time. We have it set to collect email addresses, which I find useful to make sure that the student that I want answering the quiz is the student answering the quiz. So I don't want them answering it through someone else's account. So I want the email address to match the student that should be answering the quiz. So this is one way that I can check that. Once you get responses, then if you have not released scores, you can come in here real easily like this and release scores and choose all of them or pick the ones that you wish to choose. So if you had a student that needed some more time and you weren't ready to release their score, you didn't have to release everybody's score, but this sends an email that says what you earned on the quiz. Okay. Just a reminder that we can collect data from inside the form or from the spreadsheet that we can create to go with it. So this is some of the data that I created earlier today. Notice some of my responses were very short, and this was a longer response from Lorem Ipsum. If you don't know about Lorem Ipsum, let me take a sidebar real quick. Lorem Ipsum is all of that Latin stuff that we use, and it's just lipsum.com, and you can come in and generate paragraphs. If I wanted to generate 3 paragraphs of this, I can do so really quickly, and then this allows me to use this as placeholders in some of the documents that my students create. So I just wanted to share that with you really quick, something the other sessions didn't get. So, you're in on the secret, so to speak. Okay. So we've got our form. I've shown you how to collect your data from within Sheets. So remember, all of these graphs, you can copy these graphs, these charts to your clipboard, and then you can open a Google Doc and paste those in. But this session really is about the add-ons. So what add-ons do is they allow you to manipulate the data in some way. And what an add-on is a piece of script that someone has written to fulfill a need that Google Forms doesn't fill. So if you wanted to manipulate the data, somebody has written a script and has decided to share that. Now, all of Google's add-ons are an open source document, which means that anybody can write them from anywhere in the world. So you need to be really careful. So which ones you're using. You need to be aware of where they're coming from and what kind of data they may be collecting. But these are 4 that I have used frequently and have not found any problems with. So I don't want to say that that's necessarily an endorsement, but I feel comfortable with these 4 that we're going to be using today. So to find these, the first thing you're going to do, if you have not added on these add-ons yet, is to go down here under the 3 dots and click Add-ons. And it will allow you to find add-ons that go with your forms. Now, there are a lot of add-ons that you can use. And I'm not saying any of them are better than any others. I'm just speaking about 4 of them today. So the 4 that I'm talking about is Form Limiter, and I've already added it on. Auto Mastery. Again, I've already added this on. And Mary Ellen West did a phenomenal job with this, and you will be amazed with this one. Form Notification. Notifications. Form Notifications, and the S does make a difference. And the last but not least, Forms Publisher or Form Publisher. Okay? And so we're going to walk through these 4 with the data that we have. So Scott, Valerie, I'm so glad I'm seeing your messages. I'm so glad you're here. And Valerie, thank you for the recommendation there, the kudos. I appreciate that. So here we go. We're going to walk through. Once we have added them in, you will find them here under the puzzle piece. So the puzzle piece is right up here. Okay. And so I'm just going to go through these, and I'm going to start with form limiter. And so I'm going to turn on, and I'm going to ask it to set a limit. And this is really cool, especially for those of us who do lots of forms or have lots of students. We have some different types of limits we can set. We can set for a date and time. So we want to select this form. We want it to be active until a specific date and a specific time. So 3 p.m. and 30 minutes, 3:30. So I can send this. I can have it email me or whoever the owner is when I close this form, so I can be aware that it closes. And it produces this message, which is changeable. And you can put up quite a bit there, so you could actually link to something else if you needed to there, which is really cool. And so what this does is when you reach this date and time, this button here automatically shuts down and it stops accepting responses. Now that may seem really simple, but like I said, when you've got 6 forms running because you've got 6 classes all doing 6 different things and you want them to all set to close at different times, let's say you accidentally, you have a chance that you are not at school. These can then shut down when you don't need them to be open. So that's what this allows. So we just save and enable. And it does its little thing. Okay, so that's one limit that it does. It also has a number of form responses. Must be an integer. Okay, so here's some math lingo. An integer is a whole positive number. Okay, in this case. So in it, if you wanted to do collect data and the first 25 respondents, their answers get collected. So you could collect 25. Again, you get a message, and again, you get an email when the submissions are closed. So, and all you have to do is click save and enable, and it saves and enables that. Spreadsheet cell value. So when there is a specific cell value, if you want to go until this cell is filled, then you can enable that right here. When the destination spreadsheet, and so it tells you what it is, equals whatever value you want. So you can set that as well. So that is really cool. It links it back to the spreadsheet. And you only get this option if you have chosen to view responses in sheets. So if you've already linked the sheets, if you haven't linked the sheets yet, you will see this one grayed out and you will not be able to select it. Okay? So that's form limiter. This is, like I said, this is really useful, especially when you start getting a lot of forms or you're going to be busy during a time in which you need it shut down. So this is really, really cool. And again, folks, if you're joining us, you have questions, don't hesitate to put it in the live chat. And I have that running and I am checking it. So if there's something you would like me to do over again or share over again, be more than happy to do this. So just let me know. Okay. So we're going to move on to auto mastery. This is so cool. We have spoken, teachers everywhere want to be able to differentiate our instruction. This allows us to do so from the form responses. So if we have a quiz over a topic and we can predetermine what our mastery, our basics, and which students need improvement, we can send them to specific websites or pages, Google Docs, various items, YouTube videos. We can send them anywhere that has a web link for them to do enrichment work, for them to do more practice, for them to get remedial help. There's so many things we can do with this. I am just so super excited about this one. So we're going to walk through and configure this. And yes, I can use all of these at the same time. So what Mastery Score does is This is a 30-point quiz. So mastery, I am going to determine as the teacher that if a student makes 25 or more points, they have mastered this material. I'm also going to say that if they have made 15 or below, that I consider them a beginner. Anywhere between the two, they're progressing in the learning. They may need some more help, but they show that they've had some mastery. Okay, so the question, Scott has a question. I'm going to jump into Scott's question real quick, back to form limiter. So form limiter is fundamentally to help manage multiple open forms simultaneously or to simply set a limit on availability, whatever that may be for whatever purpose, correct? Yes. So it's for that specific form. And if you use it with multiple forms, you can use it with every form that you wish. So I use it to help me manage multiple open forms, but it is up to you however you use it. I don't use it on every form. Some forms I don't care if they're open forever. Okay, so that's Scott's question. I'm jumping back into this particular one, this auto mastery. Okay, so when a student gets a score, and let me look at an individual here. This person got 5 out of 30, so this is below the beginning score, so they would be getting the beginner assignment link. I can customize the email message that they get. This portion of the message would go to all of the students who complete this quiz. And then they would be given, depending on what their mastery level is, they would be given the various different links here that you can change. So this, like I said, this might be an extension activity that you created in a Google Doc. This might be a place to go to get more in-depth questions about how this skill, this concept works. This might be taking them back to the beginning of your lesson and having them look over that again. So email quiz respondents. And so here's what your email would be. Do you want to email yourself results? And then you would click save. Okay, so anybody, you would want to do this before you give the quiz. So that way everybody following the time, because I've not set this up before now. So all of these 5 folks would not get this notice. It would be whoever person number 6 would be. So you want to make sure that auto mastery is set up before you ever give this out. Okay? Like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate, jump in, share them. I'll be more than happy to walk over and walk through any of this. Every time I do one of these sessions, I learn a little more about how to do these sessions. So, but this one, auto mastery, really blew me out of the water. I was really tickled with this one. And I have to give another shout out to Mary Ellen West, who wrote this. It just works beautifully. It takes a few minutes for the link to get to my students, but once they did, they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, I went somewhere else," because we did a practice and I told the kids what to choose, and they were like, "Oh, well, you went over here and I went over here," and so it was really cool to watch the practice happen. And I'm actually setting up some assignments using this for January. So I was really tickled to find this one. Okay, so that's the configuration of that. And it just runs in the background. You don't have to do anything else with it. Okay, so the next one that we're going to walk through is form notifications. And we're going to configure form notifications. So this really is a really simple add-on. I want to be notified. Do I want to notify everybody on the team? Do I want to notify my administrators, my guidance counselors, whoever I want to share this data with? I can notify them when I get responses. So I used this when we did a district-wide training setup. And so I didn't want to know about every single one of them, but I wanted to know when we got 10. Every time we got 10, I got a notice so I could go out there and make sure that those 10 people had filled everything out correctly and all of those things. So that was really cool. If you want to notify your respondents, you can set up for them to send them an email thanking them for filling out your form. And this is text. You can put anything in there that you want to put in there, and including links and all of that stuff. Scott, I agree with you. These add-ons are just so amazing to me. So if you want to notify, your students have filled out the form, you want to make sure they see that you saw it, this is a good way to automate that. So, and then all you would have to do is click save, and every time you got however many, it could be as few as 1. If you want to know every time somebody filled this out, just put a 1 there. So that's really cool. I've had some where I set to 100 because I wanted to know. I sent it out into the world, and it was important to know that we'd reached 100. So that's form notifications. Okay. Like I said, that one was pretty cut and dry, but it is really, really powerful. So the other one, the last one that we're going to talk about tonight, is Form Publisher. They actually put a different one out, updated it, and so I still have both of them. I have to go in and delete the old one. But this is really, really, really cool. If you have problem with doing autocorrect, which I will be talking about tomorrow night, this allows you to do some autocorrect type stuff pretty automatically. So if you had a specific file that you wanted to use, you could use that there. If not, Form Publisher will let you select something. So I'm just going to select the Google document, and it's going to come in and look at my form, and it's going to put something together based on the form that I created. And so we're going to let it do its thing. Okay, so it created this Form Publisher template, which I'm going to click on it to look at it. And here's just the template that it created based on the form that I had. So if I'm not really good at mail merge, this is a good start. I can come in and edit this as I wish and still use this. So if I wanted to say, put in here date, okay, I can do that, and it's perfectly fine here. It's not going to change anything here. So it found some standard markers, and it shows me which markers are matched with my form. So I'm going to click next. And it's publishing, it's doing its work. It's created a folder for my destination. And I'm going to go ahead and open that folder. There's nothing in there yet. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. Here's how my files are going to be generated. Do I want to keep a response spreadsheet? Do I want to keep the PDF file and drive? I'm going to go ahead and click that one. And I'm going to click next. So what do I want? I want the form respondent to get an email. That's something that they can edit, something, send the Word document, send the view, something they can comment. I want to remove them from it completely. I'm just going to send the PDFs. If I need to add someone else to get copies of things, I can do that as well. I can personalize and separate emails. Workflow is there if I want to use that. And I'm just going to click next. And it's doing its thing again. Okay, my form is ready. Try to submit a response to see it in action. And I'm going to go trainer 1 at And we're going to say first period, another seed. Okay. Just so that I have something in there. Click next. What's the secret word of the week? Jello, Jello. Submit. And it's doing its thing. And I'm going to come over here to my Form Publisher folder that we have open. I'm going to do a quick refresh and let it do its thing. Oh, still waiting for it to show up. However, it will. It will show up. There we go. Form Publisher Template 1. We're going to open that. And this is the information that I just put in there. So it's running it based on the data. So it's running it for each response that we had. So I'm going to come back and here we are. Here's our data. So each one of these is getting a copy of that form, both the editable form and the PDF that I wanted them to have. So that allows me to see what's going on. I can also see in Gmail what's being sent. So here are all my templates that are being sent. And here's, so I can see exactly who's being sent. It's been sent to me and trainer number 4. So I can see all of that information. Yes, I love the auto mastery, and it does take some getting used to, some thinking about it, but that is really cool. So those are the add-ons that I wanted to show tonight. Let me come back to the screen here. And we'll pull this back up. So like I said, those are 4 of my more useful add-ons. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I will be doing a walkthrough with AutoCrat, which is similar to Forms Publisher, but you have to go in and create some things yourself. So I wanted to put it on its own session. So I hope this has been useful and usable, and that you will find some things that you can use in the future. Like I said, my name is Tammy Neal. My email address is, and I'll put it in the chat, tammygneal@gmail.com. Please don't hesitate to reach out, ask me questions. If I don't know the answer, and one of the really great things about being a Google trainer is that I'm connected to all the other Google trainers. So if I don't have the answer, maybe somebody in my network will have that answer, and I'll be happy to share it with you. So let me be part of your professional learning network. So again, we'll be back tomorrow night with some more sessions. I'm going to be redoing this session at 6 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I'll be doing AutoCrat. So I hope this has been valuable to you. And until later, this is Tammy. Have a great night.